Hello everyone, Jesse Webb, TradersPro. Market conditions a little bit flat yesterday to a slight down day, and still in a bullish condition in our bear market, but you definitely are seeing this overall market continuing to show some strength here moving forward. And just gradually ticking up this direction. I mentioned the wall of worry yesterday, where markets can just gradually work their way higher as the news is continually negative. But then by the time markets have turned, the news may be bearish or maybe bullish at that point. It's just simply buying the rumor, selling the news. So you're starting to see some momentum moving this direction. One of the interesting things on this chart, I looked back a couple years on this chart, and this is a setting that we haven't seen in quite some time. It's really since the COVID lows did we see a bounce. When we saw this bounce off of these lows, every single time we saw a bounce off of these lows, we saw this really high spike in breadth, so really large participation. And then when it dipped back down here, we didn't see a really sharp sell-off on the breadth. We're actually getting some what's called divergence, where you have this actually moving higher. I guess in this case it's more confirmation as it's continuing to move higher, but we didn't see a new low on this move, and now we're seeing continual breakouts to that upside. So we may have the participation early in this overall trend. We'll see obviously what happens here in the next few days. We're at this upper range on momentum, pulling back a little bit, which is a good thing. Buy sell ratios are slightly negative here, just flat in this middle of the road range right here. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if we get any acceleration this direction. In this case, I've mentioned that formation. Sometimes it doesn't form exactly like this, where you get that that bounce here and then this move higher and then a move lower, but oftentimes that is the case. So we'll see if we get another bounce higher, maybe a little bit more of a pullback, and then we see some bullishness to the upside here. It could go either way right here. Depends on this week and news and earnings and the Fed. There's just a lot of things that could be happening here in the overall market. But coming off of those overbought areas, that's what we want to see. SPY chart is also relatively bullish right here. It's not, we haven't moved up into this extreme range. We've pulled back off that extreme range, and that's what we like to see in these uptrends. Once we turn green and then we start an uptrend or a potential new uptrend, obviously you never know if it's going to continue or if it's going to just reverse and roll back over. In the bear markets, typically this is what starts to happen. Typically the bear markets, you get this rollover and it starts to continue downside to the downside. But we're actually seeing some support here. We may see this stretch where we get these longer phases of green trends. But in this case, the only real bearish part of this chart is this long-term signal, and that's that bear market on the S&P 500. When that ticks back up to the upside, this will also go back to positive. So again, bullish in a bear market, which is kind of that mildly bullish, looking for opportunities to be adding into quality stocks, leading stocks, and not paying attention to a ton of the talking heads and news that are happening, just focusing on the price trend and the price data. Let's take a look at some current stocks in the new buy list. Some nice setups here. This first stock's a little biomed stock or biotech stock. Again, a lot of the times I don't know exactly what they're doing. You can certainly go in and do more homework from here, but that's my approach, is looking for the price pattern first, and then if you're interested in that price pattern and want to do more homework on the stock, then you can go out and look for other things, what they do, what the product is. Again, if that matters for you and your analysis, then you can certainly dig into that. But this price profile is the one that we want to see, where we have, we're now out of this downturn mess, and we only want to focus on green. Sometimes we do get those false breakouts. It's just the nature of trading, is you're going to get signals that don't work. That's why we used, tight money management and stop losses, so that when we do get one that ends up working out nicely and trending higher, then we're in that position and we just allow that winner to run as long as it is, in this case, as long as it stays green. In a bull market, sometimes you can get watching for this yellow and a pullback and a buy-in versus and not selling when it turns back to yellow. But in a bear market, I just focus entirely on green with a smaller position size, so that we're not overly aggressive. Position size is not too large, and only focusing on not allowing it to pull back too far. Sometimes that pullback on the sell signals gives back a little bit more, and in a bear market, the selling happens pretty quickly. So in this case, still looking for stocks that are staying in that green range, and if it even turns back to yellow, then I'd consider either lightening up the position or exiting. If you don't have full access to the site and software, you can sign up at the link below, and we look forward to having you. Have a great day today.